There we go.
There we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Voices of the Realm. Emily, Tyler, and Glenn.
It's a day.
It has been a day. It's been a week, actually. It has been, I think
it's been 10 minutes.
Yes, seriously.
Yeah, it got more and more interesting as we go closer to 7, so.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I haven't seen Tyler since Friday. Glenn hasn't seen Tyler since, Thursday of last week. So, usually Tyler's at our house every day, and we have conversation beforehand.
Before Thursday. It was like Tuesday.
Wednesday for the last podcast.
Thursday,
yeah,
you guys were at Hogwarts, and I was golfing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So... So we haven't seen Tyler. We were trying to catch up with how crazy our lives have been. Because this last week has been eye-opening, frustrating, and almost every member at this table almost went to jail.
I'm sure you
Yep.
I'm sure you had a reason.
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah, so literally...
Monday wasn't Monday.
Yeah.
Just because it's Monday.
Oh, no.
So literally, all of us almost attempted to go to jail at some point throughout the past week. So,
at least they're haunted, right?
well, depending on what jail you go, I would love to go to Eastern State. I know they're not a real jail right now.
I would request a haunted. If I'm going to jail, put me with the ghosts.
Put me in a haunted cell.
Just give me my equipment so I can talk to them.
Somebody to talk to.
Yo,
I'm not crazy.
you'd end up like Al Capone.
The voices.
Yeah, just start screaming. Was it Jimmy or somebody? You kept screaming somebody's name while he was in this cell. I think it was like Jimmy or something like that. It seems like a right name. Mobster Jimmy. Sure, that works for me.
Uh-huh.
So, last Thursday, Tyler and I, Glenn calls it our Hogwarts training, but
Yeah.
Tyler and I went to Luna Enchanted in Marlborough, New York for our psychic development class, which was pretty interesting. We went over like the clairvoyance aspect of mediumship and psychic ability.
People don't dream in color.
Yeah, so apparently...
Oh, yeah, definitely
That's
dive into that.
That's still mind-blowing to me.
I
don't
agree.
believe it.
I totally agree. So...
That guy definitely dreams in black and white.
I can't.
This go-kart sounds worse than a Honda. So, we'll leave that there.
So, my goodness. Anyway, so apparently there's some aspects of being a medium and a psychic that is shared across whoever has the abilities. You can dream in color, which I didn't know. I thought everybody dreamed in color because it always felt like, okay, so if you're if you're in your dream and you see colors, I just thought it was like visual, normal, everyday thing.
I thought it was no different than when you're trying to picture something in the past. You close your eyes and picture yourself in a room or something like that, and you're like, yeah, the carpet was like a tan color, the wall was blue.
Psychic ability. So if somebody tells you a story...
You're a wizard.
We'll get into that in a second.
Can I be Voldemort?
Yeah, probably. What are you eating?
Anyway, if any of our two viewers dream in black and white, please let us know.
Yes, let us know.
We're trying to find somebody.
So, if you dream in color, you could have clairvoyant abilities. Or you have clairvoyant abilities, it's just a matter of you nurturing them to blossom, right? If somebody tells you a story, like I went to the zoo last weekend and I stopped by to see the lions and the tigers and the giraffes, and you actually see in your mind scenery of you or me walking up to see the lions and the tigers and the giraffes. That is also clairvoyant.
Just vision the story. Excuse you.
She's rude.
Yeah, right.
That's also clairvoyant. If you close your eyes and you see like colors or you actually see pictures, that's clairvoyant, right? Tyler and I, after attending the class, looked at each other and said, I bet you Glenn is like the most powerful medium on the face of this earth.
That would be the
irony. But it's going to be the irony of it because Glenn doesn't do
We
or
were
care.
driving home and I was like, Glenn's gonna be he would be the one that...
Right, like the most powerful medium the world has ever seen. He's like, it's not real. No.
The one to bring balance to the Force. And I just...
See, and he doesn't give a shit, right?
Throw this bottle at you.
Yeah, right? So... So you have these abilities as, you know, a psychic or a medium. Now, we did a whole bunch of work with like, pendulums, and I know I have said it before. I've never been a fan of pendulums, but now that I actually have some kind of training on it, I hate both of you. Now that I have some kind of training on it, I feel more comfortable with the pendulum. How do you feel with it?
That's weird, man. That's the best way to explain it.
I think the weird part is when you say thank you, Spirit, it stops.
Mine never does when I think.
Oh, no. It, like, stops. Like, it's hard swinging, left or right, like, yes or no. And then when I say thank you, Spirit, it, like, dead center stops.
Mine doesn't do that.
For me, it does, right? For the person I was working with, it does.
It did for everybody but me.
Right.
They weren't done with you.
No. So, Luna ended up telling us that there was a seance the next night, and both Tyler and I were like, yeah, we're going to be here. We'll see you tomorrow. But we ended up...
We brought that up earlier in the week. I'm like, we should try to go to a seance.
Yes. I think it was Tuesday, like Wednesday. You mentioned, last podcast, you're like, we should go to the seance. I'm like, yeah, that's a really good idea. We should do that. Not knowing it was going to be like 2 days in. So we did so anyway, we stayed after Luna's class on Thursday to talk to her about some previous investigations that we still had some, like, questions on and how we needed to handle it and whatnot.
Headed on the dot.
And I have to say, Tyler and I are really...
That was eye-opening.
It was. And I think it was eye-opening for me because we second-guessed ourselves so much through that. And I always get on Tyler, I'm like, stop second-guessing yourself. You shouldn't second-guess yourself. But here I am, like, I don't know, maybe...
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's not that. Yeah. Maybe I'm just thinking worst-case scenario. Worst-case scenario is what I thought. And that's...
Worst-case scenario is what it was.
Right. Worst-case scenario was exactly what it was. So...
Stop second-guessing yourself.
Stop second-guessing ourselves. It's got to be like our new motto. Like on our shirts. We're going to have Tyler and Emily, stop second-guessing yourself.
Yeah. No more Spectral Realms. We're just stop second-guessing yourself.
Well, you saw what happened when I don't second-guess myself on that post.
Yeah.
I still don't believe I did that.
Hey, anybody can have a string of lucky guesses, you know?
Yeah, a string, just guessing names. And their problems in life.
So...
That was weird. That was weird.
So, of course, the next day we do the seance. And it comes through that my great aunts are protecting me. Luna goes over to Tyler. Starts talking to him about this guy who was kind of like military-like, but not military-like. And there was a connection to World War II and all of this, or not World War II, Vietnam. Talking about a really skinny guy, like a farmer. And I'm like, Luna, I really don't think that you're picking up on Tyler because that's my pop-pop. Like, that's my pop-pop. And on the SB11, it goes, it's Poppy. What? In his voice. Like, I could remember his voice for ever and ever. He was my grandfather.
And then Luna just goes,
and Luna's like, no, he's with Tyler. And I'm like, you mother. I was like, you're stealing my freaking family. Like, I was legit, like, upset. Like, not for nothing. I've done some messed up things in my life that I could have really used my grandfather.
He was looking for the right one. It's okay.
Oh, I'm going to stab you. So, before we did an investigation, a local investigation here. Oh my god, this dog. Ariat. So, before we did a local investigation, Tyler saw my grandfather. Like, described him to a T. So I pulled up a Facebook photo and showed him. He's like, oh, that's the guy that I'm seeing. I'm like, oh, cool. Pop's protecting me. He's not for me. He's solely for Tyler. Right? So then Luna's like, you guys probably have some past lives together. I was like, I better have some past lives if he's going to be taking my family. Are you kidding me? There's got to be something more than today.
I don't even know what I did to make this happen.
I think Luna's right. I think we have a past life or something together. We got to figure out how to get in touch with a past life regressionist. There's a bunch of them actually in the area, but like actually find out. And she even said to us, she's like, this dog is going to be literal death.
He's losing his stuff right now.
His stuffing is going to be all over the place in a moment. So even Luna, she's like, there's some like Southern Confederacy kind of like hit with you for, past life.
There we are.
He doesn't give a shit.
Nope. Come here. Good boy. Good boy. All right. Calm down.
That's only going to make him more wild. It is only a matter of time before this dog takes my whole house down.
Yeah. Go outside.
So
almost there.
Outside.
So Tyler and I go through this entire seance, and we are completely floored by everything that was going on. It was interesting to say the least, right? Like, it was very weird.
Well, Ella picked up the Hulk, which was weird. And I literally sent Luna a picture of the card that I found on my grandfather's stuff. And Luna was just like, she is blown away. I was just like, well, once you said Marvel, I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes. Because I forgot I had that card. And then she goes, it's like the Hulk. And I'm like, okay, keep going. And then I was like, yeah, it's gotta be. Like, no, everyone else was quiet. I'm like, oh, that's gotta be me.
You okay?
Yeah. So I put the doggy door down there. And it looks up at me like, why is the door not open?
So
what'd you do, you wizard?
So anyway, we went through the entire seance on Friday. Now, mind you, right before the seance on Friday, I got rear-ended on my way there. And that was fun. That was a great time.
And then as we're leaving, I get a message, all caps, hey, I think you have a message for me. I'm like, who the hell is this? And then I opened it, I'm like, well, Luna accidentally opened it. And I was like, oh, I gave her a reading a couple weeks ago to practice. I just put it in like a group thing, and then she messaged me. And then I picked out a lot of very detailed things. That was...
Stop second guessing your abilities.
I didn't second guess them after that. Like, I got full names, and, like, I'm like, they definitely had an alcohol problem. And she was just like, yep. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Nah, you're just lying. So let me keep going. Let me see how much you're going to feed me. And there was a couple things. She was like, no. And then it kept going. She's like, yep. Yep. And I was like, can we get another no in here at some point? There's no way. Like, there's no way. And then I did it again the next day. My cousin's boyfriend messaged me, and he was like, hey. I was like, hey.
What's up, bro?
So I didn't get as much with that, but I was like, I don't know why I'm getting like an Amanda. Mm-hmm. And then his mother's name's Amanda. I was like, by any chance, does she have a jewelry box from your grandmother? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, there's a necklace with a heart on it. He was like, yeah, when my mom was cleaning out my grandmother, she found a necklace with a heart on it.
Oh, wow.
I was like, yeah, wear that. Wear that. Yeah, that was weird too. And it's like,
Why don't you impress me with any of this magical stuff? Tell me some...
Because you don't have a soul. That's part of your problem.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Voices in the room. Glenn Norcross no longer has a soul. Has never had a soul.
No longer.
I was born a ginger. Of course I have no soul.
Yo.
I don't know. I don't... It doesn't...
Come on.
I thought you were flipping me off.
What color am I thinking of?
Purple.
Green.
Holy shit, he's genius.
I said Barney.
But yes, it was green.
Was it really?
Yes.
See, I don't know if he's just messing with me or not.
I wouldn't lie to you.
Yes, you would?
No, I wouldn't. I would bend the truth, but I wouldn't lie.
That's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Same thing.
I will always tell some version of the truth.
Jesus Christ. Green is a color
It was
in
wide.
it. Green was a color in the color you're looking for.
No,
probably
it was,
blue, maybe yellow.
No, it was green.
Okay. So, yeah, so it's been a very interesting event
Yeah,
last week.
Yep.
So
very lately, very interesting.
Yes, the full moon was definitely on our side so far. I mean, nobody's gone to jail, and everybody seems to be intact. So, bonus.
Yeah,
Okay, great. So,
it's still mind blowing that I'm like most active on a full moon because I'm a water sign, which I never made that connection before.
Water sign? What does that mean?
On
a full
Your
moon,
horoscope.
it messes with the tides. I'm a Cancer.
Okay.
Water sign, full moon affects the tides. Affects me.
Sure.
Someone pointed it out
it there.
to me.
Just leave it there.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that.
We'll
so
circle
I
back in the. We'll circle back to this. I was about to drag somebody. Anyway, so now that we're 15 minutes in, we wanted to talk about skinwalkers today. Well, I wanted to talk about skinwalkers because nobody else gives me any ideas. We talk about what Emily wants to talk about.
Well, we wrote down a bunch of stuff. You had it under control.
Mm-hmm. So what did you learn about skinwalkers over the last week?
Nothing. But I think I know they're Native American.
They're based in
very,
Native American
like,
lore, yes.
They take their shapeshift. And they're like deformed.
So the Navajo skinwalker, the demonic shapeshifter that Native Americans won't mention by name.
I did listen to a couple YouTube videos on my way here, in all fairness, to try and catch up real quick.
So proud of you.
I've been busy, man.
Glenn.
Did Glenn do any research?
Of course Glenn did research.
Did he, though?
Yeah, I read a book about skinwalkers.
Yeah, okay, buddy. No, I actually do think a while ago, I think I did come across one. I think one ran right in front of my car. It was actually the investigation I was telling you guys that I kind of went in, like, before I knew you guys.
Oh.
With the shed slamming shut in the woods.
I remember that.
She doesn't.
Yeah. No, I remember that.
So anyway, we were leaving, and then it looked like a really messed up deer. Like, the head was deer, but the rest of the body wasn't, and it was
Yes.
like...
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, now you remember the story, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was... No.
So, anybody who's on TikTok, I'm on like some weird algorithm on TikTok. I see all the paranormal stuff. I see all equestrian stuff, cooking stuff, and anything paranormal, like anything, everything actually. So there has been this guy talking about a crippled buck. Now, if this buck had some kind of arthritis in its legs,
The back legs, right?
for both front and back,
The back ones.
they looked like
wild.
really. So as the deer stands, it stands straight, but it's like parked out like this. Like you could see the amount of
And like almost reversed, like
right,
yeah, it was
right. So
the
almost
weirdest
looks
thing.
like a goat's back legs on all of their feet, on all of their legs, right?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty. I don't really remember the front. I just remember the back because it went so fast.
Right. So they're saying that it could be because it's arthritic or it's old. Well, based on the horns, based on the size of it, based on the amount of hair and everything, they're saying that it's not that old of a buck.
Yeah, he was a big boy. He was huge.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely huge.
So I can't find the TikTok, unfortunately, for it because I changed phones and the algorithm bent me over. So
I thought it was tied to your account, right?
Yeah.
I can't find it.
Doesn't have to Google's history.
Yeah.
Because you
So,
know they track everything.
There's been talk that it is a skinwalker. Now they're saying that there's a lot of skinwalkers in the area. Hey, it's Jesus!
What's up, DJ?
My guy!
So they're saying that, the skinwalkers are in this area acting as deer.
I didn't see it up here. That was on the other side of the river, out in what's the place? Not Poughkeepsie.
Whitehall?
Okay, Poughkeepsie's more east of here. Northeast.
Yeah, across the. I'm geography's not.
Delaware's
my strong
over here. So Poughkeepsie
Hudson.
would be out.
suit. Across
that
the
way.
Hudson.
Yeah.
Right, Jesus? That's exactly what my thought process was. I keep seeing these weird deer. Now, mind you, last week when I came home Thursday night from Luna's, I parked right in front of the door. I saw about 60 deer from 84 to here. A 10-minute drive. Why were there so many deer out? It didn't make any sense to me.
And what was weird too is that morning I look out the window here. Why the hell did you park the truck in the front yard?
I didn't want to.
This is why I don't go in the woods.
I had such a bad feeling walking from if I walked from my truck to my house, what would happen? And my truck is only 25, 30 feet away from my front door. Mm-hmm. But I had such a bad feeling. From the amount of deer that I saw, I was just like, I don't know. I don't feel like this is a good thing.
Yeah, I actually had 3 other people with me the night that I saw it.
What did you say?
I thought it was a deer at first. You're like, no way.
He wasn't the only person that saw it that night either. 2 other people saw the same thing. He thought he was going crazy.
No.
Yeah, like when I saw it, like the same thing. I was like, that was a big deer, and everyone was like, did you see that right? That wasn't a deer. And I was like, I mean, its legs were weird, and they're like, you should probably roll up your window. And I was like, noted.
You know what? We're
gonna do that
real quick. But again, I saw like 60 deer on my way in, and I'm like, ooh. And they were big deer. Big.
There's a lot of Native
deer.
American land over here, so
there is.
It makes sense.
We're in the Lenni Lenape area of their like whole tribe. The Foster Armstrong house, which is right down the road, not even a half a mile, not even an eighth of a mile. They found all sorts of Native American stuff in the backyard. So, I don't know. I was not about to test my theories on walking from my car to my house. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to pull up. I feel okay getting out of my truck, slamming the door, running into the house, up the stairs. I can do that. But I also, so when I pulled in and I pulled up to the front door, I saw deer, like, kind of walking towards my property. No, they don't do that. They walk the other way.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get on in.
So what's the nature of a skinwalker? Because everything that I'm hearing is kind of like manifesting dark, intense and everything, but I know...
It's demonic.
Okay, so I've heard differently from skinwalkers is that they could also be protectors of the land.
Well, I hope it's not a protector of the land if they're coming at your house, considering, you know, dog sitting in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, this whole neighborhood would have been at ends if that were true. Many years before we even showed up here.
And then Jesus also said looked like the backside of a deer, but the way it moved was not normal.
Right. That's exactly what that TikTok was showing. Like the legs were weird and everything was like, weird about it.
It's like a deer running, but like when you spin a dreidel and it starts to like die out and it's kind of like back and forth but spinning at the same time. It's the best way that I could explain that.
So, the skinwalkers are described as mostly animalistic physically, even when they're in human form. They are reportedly near impossible to kill, except with a bullet or knife dipped in white
powder,
ash.
right?
Yep.
See, I did my research.
Yep.
Very quickly. Way here, but I did it.
So, there's a couple different reasons why or how skinwalkers exist. One is that they became cannibalistic and they started eating all of their tribesmen, and that was kind of the curse from their creator and kept them into the skinwalker situation. Another one is they're part of like a UFO extraterrestrial experiment. And then there was one other one and I can't remember. Can't remember the other way that it was killed. Do you guys know of any other ones?
Yeah, so I do remember reading once about African American, or not African American, the Indian American tribes out in Arizona, New Mexico, and things of that nature, which is where I got the notion that they could also be protective of the land or even protectors of their relatives and bloodlines too. Mm-hmm. And usually it starts off with a family member of a tribe who's cursed with the task of protecting their bloodlines.
Isn't that where Ghost Adventures was, out in Arizona, when they encountered skinwalkers?
Yes, they were at Skinwalker Ranch.
I forgot about that episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That is in Arizona, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So they were at Skinwalker Ranch, and they were not only handling the skinwalkers on the outside, they were witnessing extraterrestrial activity inside the house. So the house was built, like, it's a beautiful farm. It's a very expensive farm nonetheless. And the guy just, like, up and left. He had so much shit, like, he was tired of it. Like, he just sold it for whatever he could. Some rich billionaire purchased the property so that they could actually spend time to investigate everything that was going on. So you didn't just have the skinwalkers, you had extraterrestrial activity. So they had, it's a working cattle farm. And they would find cows completely sucked out of life in the pastures. So they didn't know if it was skinwalker related or extraterrestrial related, because if you talk about extraterrestrials, one of the common stories is it killed livestock and sucked the blood out of it.
Nah, they were friends with cows.
Were they?
South Park told me they were.
I don't think we can base anything on South Park, gentlemen.
Wait, no, that's not true. I've been to Canada. They do talk like that with their heads bouncing around.
Oh my goodness.
I'm surprised it took you that long and took me that seriously.
I'm trying to have, like...
I know, I'm adding humor for the viewers that we have.
Listen, the four.
Come on, Emily. Come on, Emily.
Okay, so this is very much a Native American belief. Like, it's not something that other cultures have, even remotely close to.
And I could only find ties to the Native Americans.
Yes.
I thought I saw something earlier today where there was something else that's like a skinwalker.
And it's like all tribes of them, too. Like,
yeah.
Particularly one, but it's like all of them.
Respect my authority.
Respect my authority!
You're horrible. Don't do it again. So, it says the Dutch, the French, the Brits, the Spaniards each had their own, brought their own traditions and folklores and beliefs. But over time, it kind of all melted together, and even better, we started having autosynchrony stories and tall tales. So, I don't know.
This is one of those things, if I never saw one, I would not believe it.
So, Wikipedia, for whatever it's worth, says that it's kind of a wicked sorcerer who can transform into, occupy, or disguise themselves in an animal.
Yeah, so the other thing that I found that was like a skinwalker, but the European version is a lycanthrope.
Wouldn't that be more towards just transforming into a wolf?
Well, in folklore, a werewolf, or occasionally a lycanthrope, is a human with the ability to shapeshift into a wolf or other wild animals.
Okay.
I knew there was something that was like a skinwalker, or at least something remotely the same where I came up with something. Lycanthrope is just not an average word that's in my vocabulary, so that's why it escaped me after I heard it and then couldn't recall.
So, nevertheless, has deep roots in the Aboriginal American folklore. Other tribes throughout the region also have their own version of the skinwalker, and the Pueblo people, Apache and Hopi, each have their own unique interpretation of what a skinwalker might be. So, theories on what a skinwalker might be. Some customs hold tight to the belief that skinwalkers are produced when medicine man abuses magic for evil, when they corrupt the natural order of things. The medicine man, now an entity for evil, becomes a Sith Lord. I can't believe that's actually in here.
Sith Lord.
No, it's Wikipedia. I hate people.
Nice.
I legit hate... Like, it says Sith. S-I-T-H. It's a Sith Lord. They literally changed it in Wikipedia to be Sith Lord.
Well, that explains what Darth Maul looks like.
Right? Or he or she is given powers by pollution. The powers differ from tradition to tradition. The few things that this malicious transformation does have is through all the tribes that the Sith Lords now commands over another beast. Their abilities to turn into a different animal and their capacity to possess other people from their tribe. So, in other traditions, a person, man, woman, or child becomes a skinwalker when they perform any deep-seated taboo similar to the Wendigo curse. Finally, yet another theory, one that's tied up in the creation myths, states that skinwalkers were once the helpers of a divine being. The Navajo stories and the Nagalashis were agents for the holy people when they first training humans in the blessing way. Nagalashi were supposed to abandon the mortal world with the holy people, but few decided to stay behind. Their greed and desire to stay for the mortal plane, corruption, and the power of the holy people gave them the transformation into the malicious, semi-divine beings. Some tribes differentiate between Nagalashis and skinwalkers. The former the Native American equivalents of fallen angels, and while the mortal with the gift or for black magic.
I don't know if the fallen angel thing really falls well into this version of the folklore.
Well, I mean, we're breaking tradition. We're breaking law. He who must not be named. Just like Voldemort in Fight Club. You don't talk about it.
Oh, they're going into Loki now, huh?
Yeah, right. So, there's a lot of conversation regarding skinwalkers. Anywhere you turn, there's conversations about skinwalkers.
There's a lot.
I mean, the fact that different tribes have their own version of a skinwalker makes me believe that it's some kind of an entity, for sure.
Well, think about this too. What's another creature that almost every culture has its own version of?
Vampire.
Okay, that's one.
Werewolf.
Got any other examples? I have one specifically in mind, but...
Fairies.
I mean, really, anything.
Cryptoids. Or cryptids.
Alright, so I'm specifically thinking about Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, yeah.
All different types of cultures, all the way from
Yeti.
northern Asia,
Bigfoot.
all the way down to Africa and South America and North America. Bigfoot is prevalent, but yet different names. Yeti, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, there's all different types of names.
Yep.
It's like everybody's got their version of lore on what this creature is. They've all claimed to have seen it, and even if you go like just a few hundred years back, it was very hard to transport that kind of information, not just nationally but globally. So for these peoples of different regions and parts of the earth, for them to have their own version of this was actually very intriguing.
Right.
It's not like today. Anybody can put anything out on Twitter, Facebook, or any of these things and be like, oh, I saw this. And all of a sudden the whole world, if it goes viral, the whole world knows what it is.
Right. And I mean, if we're going to be talking about how information went from community to community in those times, I mean, I've never been in the school of thought like, oh, it's just misconstrued throughout time. Like, there's some kind of reality, some kind of truth behind the stories being told. You know, why would there be pyramids all over the world from about the same time, give or take 500 years? Mm-hmm. Like, it just didn't make sense. Like, oh, there's
from
pyramids.
Cultures that have obviously never interacted with one another.
Right.
And they never would have had the opportunity to.
So I feel like that would be hard to say that it's just from storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like there's some truth behind all of these myths. Now, granted, telephone happens, and then you have people who add to the stories and just to make themselves or the story seem more interesting.
Mm.
But I think, based on our area, I think the Skinwalker is a legit being.
I would say so. I saw a demented deer that sold.
Well, in this area, Fish and Game had actually put out a notice a couple years ago that if you see a deer without a shoulder and a front leg, to kill it, because it's a diseased animal and there's so much inbreeding that it's now getting deformed. What's to say that's not a Skinwalker? Now, Ariat, this dog that I have, he gets up in the middle of the night to go outside. Well, to save one of us, me, getting up every night, we kind of leave the door cracked open so he could just do what he needs to do. Well, the other night, I get up, I'm like, where the hell is this dog? I come outside, Hank is laying on the bed over the sitting room. Ariat's asleep on the deck. And I said to Glenn, I'm like, okay, we have bear in our area. The last thing we need to do is Ariat getting some kind of a way about a bear walking across the property. Then my other thing was, if we legitimately have skinwalkers, I don't need my dog outside antagonizing it, because there is a deer that he is barking at right now. So what's to say it's not a skinwalker?
Man, you guys are putting a lot of pressure on me.
I'm not putting pressure on you. I'm just trying to include you in the conversation.
Oh no, I'm dog sitting in 2 weeks here. Now I gotta think about skinwalkers and bears. What Ariat's gonna try and murder?
First of all, he won't try to murder anything. If anything, he'll try to take it inside the house and be like, let me show you where it's
Yeah, he'll kill it and show it to you. He'll be like, here you go. It's like, look at this bear head I have. This was a deer, now it's a human's head. I don't understand.
I don't know what happened.
Doesn't make sense to me.
I'm gonna
But
lay down, see you
a
later.
baby bird will fall out of a tree and he will scoop it up and come bring it to the house and protect it for some reason. He'll kill adult things, but he'll baby things. He's like, nope, very protective.
Yeah.
What kind of bird was that?
It was a robin.
Yeah.
Came in, like, I'm trying to with our neighbors, we had a loose dog who desperately needed vet attention. And I'm on the phone with my neighbor trying to coordinate so we can go get this dog. And all of a sudden, Ariat comes in, plops on the ground. I'm like, Kevin, I gotta call you back. He's like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, Ariat just brought me a bird. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I know. I hang up the phone, and Ariat's got this little baby bird. Like, it was only a week or two old. And he's like licking it. I'm like, this is not, first of all, Popeyes. We don't do poultry in this house for dogs like that. But I went to get it, and he's like, kind of like crouched over it. I was like, dude, I'm gonna help it. Like, what are you doing? So I put it in I brought it to the local aviary, and bird was released. He's fine. But, I mean, Ariat was, like, all about protection for it.
Mm-hmm.
How about bear, man, pig?
Oh, my goodness.
Man, bear, pig.
That's funny. Somebody sent me that the other day.
Super cereal.
Was it Johnny who sent his man bear? Somebody sent his man bear pig.
I don't know.
I'll have to look. But somebody actually sent me a photo after I talked about skinwalkers. And I'm like, are we kidding right now? Like, we're going to go Al Gore with this real quick? Like, real
Man,
South
bear,
Park
pig.
man bear pig? Like, sure. Cool. South Park is such a messed up show. Like, I gotta tell you.
You ever get a chance to watch the outtakes of them doing the recordings when they're in the studio?
No.
That's more hilarious than the show.
I don't know, the show's pretty funny.
Because they can't take themselves seriously, so they're trying to record all these voices, and all they're doing is just like hysterically laughing for 45 minutes and like, getting like 5 seconds of
every
audio.
Christmas, I have to listen to their South Park Christmas CD.
Yes, that's definitely it. That's an.
I've been listening to this soundtrack since 2003.
That's a national pastime.
It is. Like, I have every word memorized to every one of the songs.
Please
and
do.
they're so messed up. I'm not singing it now, no. But it's so messed up. And I remember we were driving to the guy who like basically raised me. He's a pastor now, and he was doing
Yep.
Christmas Eve.
We definitely did this.
He was doing Christmas Eve's mass or service or whatever. We are listening to South Park's Christmas CD as we're pulling into the church.
Yep.
Like, I felt like such a bad person. But I love it because South Park, that's Christmas for me. South Park's Christmas CD.
Hanky the Christmas poo.
Right, so our other dog's name is Hank. And anytime he gets stupid, we sing the Mr. Hanky song. I mean, Ariel's the one who eats his poo, but still, like, that's how it works. So, off topic, like, way off topic. But, anyway, skinwalkers. So, you have Skinwalker Ranch out in Arizona.
Let's go.
I don't know if I could.
Like the same thing about the Conjuring House. Just gonna leave that there.
Yeah. No, I'm down for...
Yeah, well, my husband said yes without discussing with me, so...
You didn't have to agree to this.
He had already paid for me.
Oh. You see, what's stopping that from happening in the future?
None, because my husband doesn't like talking to me about things.
You can't say no to the Conjuring House if there's an opportunity that arises.
That's exactly my thought.
I know.
She says no, I'll replace you with somebody else. Either way, somebody... we got money for somebody to show up at that investigation.
You would replace your wife?
If you don't go to the Conjuring House, yeah. I wouldn't replace that person as my wife just for the night to go investigate the Conjuring House.
See how it is.
You're expendable.
You're sitting
Clearly.
here. You're sitting here talking about how you don't want to go. So
I'm nervous about going. I've never been hidden from you guys.
Well, Luna did tell us that the Conjuring House is gonna be when
Glenn
everything.
Gets his wings.
No, when we just like burst
yeah.
through. So when we were talking about the previous investigations. I asked her, I'm like, is this like us not being like powerful enough, or is this more like
like the one
knowledge?
instance we were talking about. Yep. Okay.
Or is this more of like a knowledge thing and doing it more to gain that knowledge? She goes, it's definitely knowledge. Like there was no second guessing her. Like we have the abilities, we have the power to do it. It's the knowledge and the experience to really pull that through.
How old this entity we were looking at.
Being told that information, can you now look back into that scenario and say, I was feeling this or something like that, and be like...
No.
So it's kind of like, there's got to be like some kind of radio antenna that's not working right now.
It's not, it's because it's
the knowledge that we don't have the knowledge to push through that hole in the roof.
We were also dealing with very old, very ancient and well-educated entities.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good at disguising themselves in every way, shape, or form.
I kind of believe that. And the only reason I'm going to say that is because that one photo you took looked completely different to all of us that night. Until the next day where I was...
Which would be... Because Tyler mentioned that to Luna. She's like... He's able to change perception.
And then right after that part of the conversation, she goes, the Conjuring House is going to be where you guys push through.
Exponential. And she's like, well, I don't know if I can make it because I have the shop and we're doing Black Friday. I said, Luna, I don't care what I have to do to get you to the Conjuring House, but I need you at the Conjuring House. Like, I desperately need Luna there.
Mm-hmm.
For my own sanity, and I think you would feel much better knowing that we had a full-blown professional with us.
I didn't know this. She's also recognized by 2 different churches.
Yes.
For
so
what?
She's not only a voodoo priestess, but she is recognized by 2 churches as a pastor.
Like a cleanser. And I think she does weddings as well.
Yep, she's...
she can cleanse weddings.
she's...
no, she can,
ordained. Yeah, she's ordained.
Yeah.
Erase this mistake.
For us. If there was ever...
Have you ever met Russ?
If only. If only.
Yo. That's a lot more than some holy water. That's way more than some holy water.
I think she needs a couple more churches under her belt.
Yeah, she might need all of them and then some.
Russ needs that whole store.
Seriously, not a joke.
Just don't trust him.
He needs that whole store and quite possibly the pharmacy next door.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. And oh my god, there's actually a CVS right next door.
Perfect. And a Dollar General.
And a Dollar General.
He can go in there and get his rocks and pendulums and go over there and go get his Valtrex or whatever he needs.
Wow, my gosh. But, Luna did confirm everything that Tyler and I had initially thought in regards to that investigation.
Which was eye-opening, given how much more knowledge she has than us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that was the first time we really experienced anything to that extent.
And mind you, Tyler did tell her Cliff Note version of what had happened, and her first response was get the clergy. Then, when we sat down and actually went over everything, she's like yesing us. And she tried to be like, so I started this story off and she tried to veer off. I'm like, hold on, I got more. But wait, there's more.
Calm down, Billy Mays.
Really. And by the more or less the end of it, she's like, oh yeah, you're right.
Did she hear my favorite EVP out of that?
The little brat.
Little brat.
I think we did.
I don't think we had her listen to
No,
anything.
oh, that's right.
I like that one because if there's like ever a Class A EVP, that was it.
Yeah.
Like that was so clearly spoken,
and now
pronounced perfectly,
yeah,
and it came through clear as day.
Yeah, that was crazy. So clearly we're on the right path, and clearly we are no longer allowed to second guess ourselves. And I swear to God, if you're a medium, I will lose my mind.
Why?
I think he has the ability. He's just too ignorant.
I'll go with it.
And you know what's gonna happen? He's just gonna want to prove us wrong.
Dive
into it.
One time. He's gonna dive right into it. He's gonna be like, you know what, guys? This.
Your boy's in the corner.
And then he just lays out like this board. And he's like, this. They're telling me this. And they're saying this and that. And
blow everybody's minds.
And then
be like, you know what? I just randomly guessed all of that.
And then you're going to drop them. No, it's not guessing if you get it all right.
Yeah,
you're going to drop the mic and be like, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, and he'll be like, I'm done. Excuse me, what do you mean I'm done? Because that's not acceptable. We don't quit in this house.
Only quitters are spitters.
Because we're not trying to get monetized here, pal.
Sorry.
He's not wrong.
We should obviously at this point just give up on this whole monetization thing because I don't think we've had a podcast.
There's dogs walking out front.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are there bells?
That's the lady who walks two horses on a leash. Yeah. Did you see those dogs? They're massive.
One was a Great Dane, wasn't it?
Both were.
Yeah. So, we should just give up the whole monetization thing because clearly we've not had a podcast where either of you have been good. I've been good!
There were some. You were the only. I think last week you were the only one to drop the F-bomb.
Oh my God. Hold on, guys. Sorry, the dogs obviously were going crazy. No, last week it was not me. Thank you very much.
Pretty sure it was.
Nope. We'll look at it. We'll listen. We'll see who drops it first. It was not me.
It was 1 or 2 weeks ago you did.
Like probably one of the first ones.
It was one of the more recent ones.
Yep, sure. So
how much money are we putting down on this?
My stake to burn Bray.
Huh?
Whatever I want, burn Bray.
Yeah, no. I'm with you both on it. What?
Whatever I owe for burn Bray.
$20. All right, fantastic.
So, she's gonna bet her amount that she owes on Burn Bray that she did not drop the F-bomb version one of the more recent podcasts. She was saying it's only in the first couple that she did it.
Alright.
We can go back and watch them. They're all on YouTube.
Oh, I know. I can't wait this to be right. Because I know for a fact it was 1 or 2 ago. We both looked at her and was like, ah.
Okay. No, he's right. I think it was the last Friday podcast.
It was not last Friday.
You hit play and we're like, fuck. Why was the first one tonight?
I win.
You won tonight. There's one other reason once you were definitely the biggest loser.
I will admit that, but I
First
really tried
loser.
my best. Glenn just doesn't give a damn.
What?
I swear. I swear. So anyway. Sorry, we're eating cookies and talking about skinwalkers. I really feel like they're a part of our society. Like there was no reason for that many deer last Thursday. None whatsoever.
It's not mating season.
No, there's not mating season until November, and that's when rut hits.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Bigfoot was chasing them out.
That's something too that I've seen here.
Okay, so that one was weird. One night she's driving home. This was like not last year.
I got a phone call.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
brought up Bigfoot too. That was
She
was really weird.
She calls me, Glenn. I just saw Bigfoot run through Newton or something, wherever you were.
206 in Sandiston.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. Like, cool. And then I'm on Facebook like 2 minutes later. Somebody else in Franklin. Hey, did anybody see Franklin? See Bigfoot run across the road? I'm like, alright, hold on a second. So, you're seeing Bigfoot sightings, and then somebody like 20 miles away is seeing Bigfoot sightings? What the hell's going on here?
It was an hour after I got home.
There's
when
a
that
pack of
person talked.
Bigfoots running around out
Yeah.
there.
And
Unless
then that
he's
night,
teleporting.
Tyler sends a message. Hey, what do you guys know about Bigfoot? I'm like,
Yeah, that's right. Like a string of Bigfoot events happening.
I didn't even get a response. Like I didn't even put my phone down from that. Wait a minute, what? Who's calling? Oh,
Yeah.
apparently I'm not the only one seeing Bigfoot.
Clearly.
Bigfoot's real.
I mean, maybe that was their mating season, their rut.
Is there more than one Bigfoot, or do you just
That's
teleport?
definitely one supernatural being I'm more inclined to believe that actually exists as Bigfoot.
I would absolutely believe it. Yeah. Absolutely.
I love those old those old documentaries that they had like years ago where people were just in the woods and you just hear like this screaming coming through the woods and they say that's this Bigfoot's communicating. And there's nothing on this planet that actually creates this sound. No, sorry, nothing known on this planet that creates that sound.
There was a movie with Sam Elliott. I think it was A Famous Bigfoot Hunter or something like that was the name of the movie, but he ended up killing a rabid Bigfoot. I am a huge Sam Elliott fan. I love Sam Elliott. I hated that movie. I was so angry about the whole thing. I was actually mad at Sam Elliott for taking that role.
Everyone has a bad movie.
Seriously. Green Lantern, anyone?
God damn it, Ryan Reynolds.
Poor Ryan Reynolds.
He redeemed himself in Deadpool 2. He knew what he did.
They had
Well, they had the thing where on Deadpool 2 when he shot himself for reading the script in Green Lantern.
I'm sorry, Canada.
So I would say Sasquatch is a very real thing. I mean,
I think that's the most out of so far out of most of the things that we've covered.
isn't
here.
there a missing link between chimpanzees and humans, Homo sapiens? Like the scientific classification of the chimpanzees and them?
Yeah, they're still on that missing link theory.
What's to say it's not big? Sasquatch.
There's been theories for the longest time that Sasquatch would be the missing link. The thing is, we
No,
haven't found any
yeah.
dead bodies of it or anything.
Who's
like
going
that.
in the woods with beef jerky?
Glenn.
Oh yeah, it's got to be
Jack Links.
Yep,
Wow.
messing with Sasquatch. That's how you know advertising fucking works, because it's stuck in our heads.
That's twice.
Right?
But who's counting?
So 1, 2, and fuck. Damn it.
We don't do things in threes.
Yeah, we need to have
Don't!
more. So, yeah, Sasquatch, I would absolutely say, is real over skinwalkers. I still think there's some reality behind skinwalkers. I just don't think they're everything as they're hyped up to be. There's way too many sources, and there's way too many, like, descriptions.
Oh, you still on that bear pig?
Oh. That's how I feel.
Yeah. Since we don't do things in threes, fuck.
Good night, America.
Yeah. So much disappointment right now. So, I mean, we're wrapping it up. We got a couple minutes left to the podcast. So, anything you guys want to say? August, we're off for investigations. We're not doing anything because literally half the team is going on vacation. Not together, just, separately. But I think August is kind of our catch-up because we have so much evidence still to go through for Grapevine and then Bull's Head.
Not hours of evidence, days of evidence.
Days of evidence, yeah. So that's going to be hard to put together and do on top of vacation and all that kind of stuff. But we will... What is he... He's messing with the cat?
Yeah, he's playing with...
That's a bad game.
He's playing with Gizmo.
That's the worst game.
Cuddly little cactus bear.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess we're going to wrap it for the night.
Sounds like a good idea.
And we will talk to you folks later. If you like, subscribe, comment below. And if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to, to reach out to us. And we'll do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. You, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. For Voices from the Realm, for Spectral Realm Investigators, have a good one.